Hey YouTube, welcome to Beyond the Hype, a series I created to look at Pokemon with new moves or buff moves to figure out whether you actually need to invest in them or are they overhyped or maybe even underhyped. And in this one, we are going Ninetales. And again, I'm sorry for my longtime subscribers. For those of you who are newer to the channel, I am the best Ninetales player in the world. And what I mean by that is I found Ninetales was the core breaker to the Trevenant, Walrein, Registeel back in like season 8 or 9 or whatever, and I made like 20 videos on it in a span of like 2 months. I knew that this thing was amazing, so I played it with Fire Spin all the time, and then water and ground became the meta, so it became useless. And then they buffed Fire Spin and more steals came up, so I'm like, oh, this has even more potential play. And this season they buffed Ember, so Ember is now buffed. As you can see with the Shadow Ninetales, you can see the difference in Ember, Fire Spin. Quickly go over stats. It's like a okay, like slightly lower attack, mid defense and stamina, but you're using the shadow like you kind of need to use the shadow version just because Ember, sorry, as you can see here, these are like okay damage moves, and you want that sort of nuke with the overheat here because it one shots a lot of things. So I always play the shadow. As you can see, the difference between shadow and non-shadow is somewhat significant. So I personally would go shadow, meaning you're with a 20% boost here, probably at like 130 attack. Drop this down to like 100 and that. So you're more of attack heavy Pokemon. Typing sucks. Like fire's bad. Weak to ground, water, and rock, and that is everywhere. And the resistances, there's more bugs now. There's maybe a couple more fairies. There's a couple more steals. So, maybe it has a little more play this season. But now with Ember being able to have a 2-turn move versus a 3-turn move, and the difference in timing here. Excuse me. So you have now Weather Balls coming straight 10s and Overheats coming straight 16. Whereas before it was 12-9, 12-9 here with a 3-turn move, and then 18-15, 18-15. So it's just spamming the first move much quicker, and then you're kind of evening out on the second one, and then you're spamming quicker on the third. So the damage you're giving up is not inconsequential, but being able to spam a little quicker on the first one is strong. And that's kind of what I felt. I felt like I was able to get to these Weather Balls and Overheat slightly faster than I used to. So you got to cover your ground, you got to cover your water. So I covered ground and water both basically with Credilli and Jellicent. That is why I'm using Bullet Seed, because you are weak to rock and ground. I did not want to test acid just yet. I will test it eventually, but for now we are just doing the Bullet Seed. Let's look at some battles here. Scizor, love to see it. Aeroquinid comes in. So I stayed in this matchup because Bug Bite is resisted, and then I eventually catch because I know all the moves are resisted on Jellicent, right? Bug is resisted, water is resistant. So I just wanted to farm up a bit there. I could have thrown an Overheat, and you'll see me land some Overheats. It is a very, very hard-hitting move. So they're going to eventually throw a move. Probably Water Pulse is eventually going to be coming here. I've got this Pokemon coming up as well, so you're going to see a lot. You're doing... I forget when I'm going to post this, but you're going to have 2 videos. I'm going to go back just this week only. 2 videos on Saturday, 2 videos on Sunday, because there is a lot of Pokemon to look at here, and I'm running through pretty much all these new Pokemon, so lots to see. Anyway, Scizor comes back in, so they are going to take me out. That is fine. I will just come back in Ninetales after this and delete this. Double super effective, and they get out into Bastiodon. We are definitely going to throw an Overheat. Overheat being neutral here because they are half steel. They unfortunately do not let it land, and this is a thing. So if you... There are certain, I was going to call it adages back in the day where Shadow Machamp doesn't care about your typings. Shadow Charizard and Typhlosion, Shadow Typhlosion with Blast Burn don't care about your typings. Overheat is one of those on the Ninetales that kind of doesn't care about your typings. They're not, the Kanto Ninetales isn't as attack heavy as like Shadow Typhlosion is, but an Overheat Shadow, sorry, I'm covering the, oh no, it's behind. Does 187.2 damage, right? So even if that is resisted, you're still going to absolutely do an insane amount of damage, even if it's resisted. So that is why Overheat's almost a must on this Pokemon. I've seen Weather Ball Psyshock. I've seen Scorching Sands. I just don't... a resisted overheat is going to do more than those almost in any condition. So I just think you run that overheat and you blast things and you have a good time doing it. So here is the overheat, taking it out there. Dragalge, Dragon, resists fire. So it's not only that you're weak to ground and water. It's not only that you are weak to ground and water, it's that there's other things that resist fire, and Dragon is one of them. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else resists. I guess rock, because I'm only hitting neutral against Bastiodon there, even though it's half steel. Dragalge is one of the I have to test. I really need to test it. I've gone against it multiple times now, having the acid, and it gets to those outrages very, very quickly. So I was actually kind of impressed going against it. I'm like, oh, this is actually putting on a lot of pressure, a lot more pressure than I thought it would. So that's one I got to test, but let's stop. Let's not get completely off track here. In a mirror match, going just straight surf, they're going to get to a move here, so I'll show the potential Shadow Ball. Burning that second shield. So it's not that Ninetales super glassy. You can take some moves depending on what the move is, but you don't want to leave it with 0 shields because you're gonna have a tough time, right? And you need to not that you need to land an overheat. You're gonna see some scenarios that you can go Ember Weather Ball. In fact, that was the case even back in the day when it had a non-buffed Fire Spin and Weather Ball. You can just go Fire Spin, Weather Ball, and take out the Lickitungs back in the day. So it was a good Pokemon. Dragalge and a Blastoise is just, and I think they had another water Pokemon. I remember a triple team that just had absolutely tons of play against Ninetales. But back on the Scizor train, double weak. Dragalge again, gonna come in here where poison is resisted. But here comes the outrage, right? I know I may even respect it and shield it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm shielding this. This thing spams very quickly, but Jellicent resisting the poison, getting to the Shadow Ball here. Do grab one shield. They're gonna get to move. I do live in outrage, so I know I could take one. I'd be surprised if I double shielded Jellicent. But yeah, look at that, putting on some pressure on my Jellicent. And if they really want my Ninetales off their Scizor, which they may, they're going to shield this. Yeah. Let's see if I shield to try and keep switch, or I just try to... Yeah, I'm really trying to keep switch here. And they're just going to give it up into Mandibuzz. Okay, at least they gave it up to Mandibuzz, which means I can align with my Credilli with Rock Tomb and keep my Ninetales on Scizor. So this is just like a kind of toughish alignment for them. This is kind of neutral from their end, but I have a super effective Rock Tomb, which lowers their attack. So nice combo there. I'll just make sure I probably come out with it. I'll probably take at least one, maybe 2 more moves to make sure I come out with a Rock Tomb in case they try and snipe me with something. Like the Scizor coming back in. And there it is. And that is why you have a move bank, so you don't get farmed down and let them come out with a bunch of energy. And then you get in here, and then you just absolutely delete it. Yeah. I'm like, wow, look how strong Ninetales is on a Pokemon double weak to it. In terms of fire Pokemon, this and Typhlosion and even Marowak are almost prime examples of why Ninetales is ranked so low. And I get hit here. I try to catch on a... kind of knowing they would have an answer to water, but I thought Jellicent as like the grass would have enough play. In terms of fire Pokemon, Ninetales is ranked below. It's actually number 2. That's interesting. So, A Marowak is the only fire Pokemon ranked above, and that's 5964. And this just shows you how bad fire is, right? They buffed Bug through the roof, and there's a bunch of Pokemon. Not all of them are Bug Pokemon, and some of these bugs are also have water, so I guess that makes sense why it doesn't. But they buffed Bug through the roof, and you only have 3 fires in the top 100, and the top ranked one is 59, A Marowak. Cancel Shadow Ninetales at 85, and Armarouge, that's very French, 95 there. So Talonflame is actually 104, which is kind of surprising, and Typhlosion is 173. Again, if you saw my Legend team last season, you'll kind of know that I didn't play Typhlosion in the even energy, even shield scenario. I really tried to take a Incinerate advantage or shield to just kind of sweep there in the 2 shield. Trying to get to the overheat here, cannot. So we're going to shield this to take this out with an overheat. This overheat will take out, like again, resisted or not, it's a shadow overheat. It's going to take anything out from 50% health, but unfortunately a Zoomerl in the back, too low in health. Not going to get to the Grass Knot here, so I will be taken out. Dedenne. So I did not know who would win CMP, so I threw Weather Ball right. I think I throw Weather. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't throw it right away. But as you're going to see here, they're going to have to start shielding. Is it this matchup or a different matchup? So I get to the next Weather Ball here. I'm going to shield 1. And maybe they miscount because they should be getting in straight 10s too. So I think they miscount because I get to the Weather Ball here. Or I think they just saw how low I was and they tried to farm down. But that does not work. And I get to a 3rd Weather Ball. And this is where the pacing works, right? 3-turn move, Fire Spin, 12, 9, 12. 12, 9, 12? Let me just confirm that. Yeah, 12, 9, 12 to get to the Weather Balls. So 12, 9, 12 is 21 and 33. So it's 33 turns to get to it as opposed to 30 here. And you have a 2-turn move versus a 3-turn move. So that is the huge strength of Ember. You're getting to those Weather Balls quicker on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd time, while the damage being done is only slightly less than Fire Spin. So a huge improvement there. And same thing with the overheat. The overheat would be 18, 15, 18, 15. As opposed to straight 16s. So you get to, yeah, because 18 plus 15 is 33, so you get it to it quicker too. So I think personally now, giving up 0.24 damage to be able to spam both the Weather Ball and the overheat faster is an improvement. Now, again, how much of an improvement is it? In a meta that is still very much dominated by ground Pokemon, water Pokemon. You know, there's more bugs which you resist, which is nice. And the Ember Weather Ball does put on pressure. Like I said in the past, you could take Lickitung out just going straight Fire Spin Weather Ball, and now you arguably have a better combo here with Ember Weather Ball. So I think in neutral situations, Ninetales will surprise you. I just think that there's enough bad situations where I can't like recommend you use this. But going straight 10 and 10 and 10 here, knowing I can get to this move here, I'll take it in the 2 shields, winning CMP here. So taking out Gligar in the 2 shield. Oh, nice catch. They caught on the Blastoids, but I would have taken Gligar out there in the shield scenario because the Embers are adding up and the Weather Balls are adding up. So we still have a few battles left here, but main conclusion, just to not repeat myself, is, I mean, I'm going to repeat myself. Main conclusion is Ember is better than Fire Spin now. Ember gets you to the moves faster, which I think is a huge strength. Ninetales in a lot of neutral situations is going to be very strong for you, but there's too many damn non-neutral situations for Ninetales to be any sort of meta Pokemon here. I just think there's too many waters and grounds and rocks. So if you just search water, some of these are bugs like Golisopod and Airquinid, but they have water type moves and Aqua Jet and Water Pulse, so that's going to affect you. But like you have Golisopod 5, Samurott 7, Jellicent 11, Lapras 14, Feraligatr 22, Airquinid 24, Gastrodon 33, Toxapex 35, Azumarill 37, Duat 47, Quagsire 56, Blastoise 96, right? So you have I don't even know how many that was, but you're like 10 to 12 Pokemon in the top like 55 that are water and ground. Clodsire at 1, Gligar at 8. Gligar at 8 again in the you saw how you can win that one because Fury Cutter is resisted on the grass, on the fire. So Gligar is not too bad, but Diggersby, so Clodsire, Gligar, Diggersby. Steelix is weak to fire, so it's not that big of an issue, but Stunfisk, Gastrodon and Mouse you mentioned there. Golurk, Marowak, Runerigus, Claydol, and then if we start seeing more Carbinks and Bastiodons, it could get a little tricky as well there. So there's all those Pokemon that you need to watch out for that you're weak to. And we're definitely going to see more Dragalge. It's rank 60. I've seen so many people use this Pokemon despite it being rank 60. I think the play of this thing is going to go up, and it comes down to its resistances. It's a poison dragon. So you're weak to 4 things. Dragon, not a ton of dragon in the meta. So ground, ice, psychic, but double resisting grass and single resisting water, poison, fire, fighting, electric, and bug. And pretty much everything I named there is either meta or buffed this season. So Dragalge is a nice pick. So fire is going to be resisted there. Resisted on the rock, which you're weak to. What else is fire going to have problems with? Water, yeah. The things that are going to beat you is the stuff they generally don't have a move for anyways. Just trying. I'm just trying to see if there's any other like typings. I wish there was like a nice little handy another Scizor, which is nice. Dusclops. Gonna try and chip Dusclops here. And right, that is not insignificant chips. Dusclops is extremely bulky, and with the Embers and Weather Ball, you took it to 50% health, and they got a Shadow Punch off, and you are above 50%. So like, I think people will be surprised how strong Ninetales is in neutral situations. Just gotta watch out for all the non-neutral situations. And yeah, you do well against bug and steel, right? And grass and ice, but there's not a lot of pure ice. That's the problem. There's not a lot of pure ice. A lot of the ice Pokemon are like Lapras, which are have water, so that neutralizes it. The main grass now is Credilli, which rock neutralizes it. So bug, you got like Araquanid and Glisopod, which that neutralizes the fire. So a lot of the fire which you would hit super effective against are actually neutralized out. Normal, fire, water, electric, grass, ice, fighting, poison, ground. I already talked about flying. Most are neutral. Psychic, rock. Already talked about. Ghost, dragon, resist. I talked about. Yeah, dark, steel, and fairy. You resist fairy too. So if you see a charmer, fire has a play there. I just think between the water and the ground and the rock, yeah, it's not the Walrein, Registeel, Trevenant meta anymore. It is the Clodsire, Feraligatr, Marowak meta. So unfortunately not gonna cut it. And they do have a move on theirs. Let's watch the one last battle we have here. Ninetales into Camerupt. It's kind of spicy. They are ground fire, so my fire is resisted, their fire is resisted. I am just going Weather Ball because I assume how glassy this thing's probably glassy. Yeah, so they do shield. I have no idea what the moves are, so I'm assuming one is ground, so I'm not gonna let them hit me there. And they come in Dust Noir, so I'm at the overheat. Let's throw the overheat, and I think you know where we're going here. We landed. Goodbye, Dust Noir. Deleted, and then there's going to be switch lock. So if they come into something that beats this, like a water Pokemon, we are going to instant swap. So saw the water Pokemon, instantly came in with the Jailsint. Ninetales still alive, still have a Credilli. We'll deal with the Blastoise and Camerupt because it's half ground. I resist everything here, just to make sure I come out with some energy for that. So yeah, we're going to have My schedule's all over the place. I think I'm going to redo some. So I think this is going to, not redo some, redo some ordering here. So my guess is that this is going to go up Friday afternoon. Yeah, we'll move this to maybe the weekend sometime because it was a viewer submitted. Thank you for submitting, subscriber. Your Palmont is now probably on for Sunday because I have Shadow Scissor this morning, which was really fun. Ninetales now, Friday afternoon. There is an event tomorrow. We're just going to skip it because, again, this week is so much to go over. I played Metang, so that will come Saturday morning. And I'm in the process of playing Airquinid, so that will come Saturday afternoon. And then I'll need one for Sunday morning. I've got the Palmont one from the subscriber, which I'll showcase Sunday afternoon. And then we'll do one more Monday. I got to see what else I haven't showcased yet. Oh, Dragalge. I've got to try Dragalge. So that will probably come Saturday afternoon. No. Yeah, wait. Airquinid. No, Metang's Saturday morning. Our Airquinid Saturday afternoon. Dragalge will come Sunday morning. I've got to try Dragalge next. So that would come Sunday afternoon. Sorry, Sunday morning. Palmont Sunday afternoon. Let's see if there is any other Pokemon. If this goes out Friday and you made it through my incoherent nonsense up till now, let me know if there's any other Pokemon on this list you want me to try. I have just been literally going down PV Pokes rankings, except for Ninetales, which is lower, but it's, you know the story behind that. So I've just been going down the list. Maybe Credilli with Acid, but Dragalge has Acid, so maybe I don't want to double dip on that, but maybe I'll do that Monday morning just to see. Unless there's like another Pokemon that you guys think is like, you need to try this that I haven't mentioned here, but I'm at Bronzong with Metal Sound at 67. I could do that. Could do Bronzong with Metal Sound at 67. That could be. Or, oh, you know what I want to try? The Galarian Moltres, even though that doesn't get a lot of views. Galarian Moltres with Fly, I think is one I want to try. So there's definitely Pokemon I still want to try. Whether they all make it this week or I bank some Great Leagues for later in the season. And then Monday afternoon, for sure, is going to be a one weekend meta analysis over ranked, underranked. My thoughts. Anyways, that is it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.